Hi, welcome back, Boise Entrepreneur Week. Man, we've had such a crazy day, jam-packed again, keeping the momentum going. It's really exciting to see the Venture College and the Cybersecurity Challenge handing out checks earlier today. That's part of one of our favorite things about doing Entrepreneur Week. So before we get back to that, doing hacking for home buildings this afternoon, I'm really excited to be sitting down with David McCauley from TELEO Capital. Thanks for coming down and having a conversation, and thanks for investing in our ecosystem.
Thanks for having us.
Of course.
It's fun.
So tell us about TELEO Capital.
Well, okay, a little about TELEO. We don't all have beards and we're not all bored, but we do have, founded in 2018. In 2019, the partners got together and said, where do we want to set up? And they picked Boise, Idaho. So 2 of the 3 partners have moved to Boise and made Idaho their home. We raised $250 million in October of 2020. And let's see, since then, it's been a whole year. We've done 6 deals, which is crazy, and put 55% of the capital to use. So we're excited.
You're rocking and rolling, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's
6
busy.
deals in a year is quite a bit for people.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
Yeah. So I have to ask, because there's a part of that story that I think is really intriguing. You have partners kind of in Southern California and all over the country,
Sure.
and why Boise? Why did they choose to set up shop and plant the flag here?
Well, other than I was here.
Okay.
It's actually one of the founders is from Boise, went to Bora High. He's been in Boise his whole life. He's got his whole family here and everybody here. And his dream after going into private equity probably 15, 20 years ago was, I want to bring a firm back to Boise, Idaho. And so he convinced a bunch of other guys to make it happen. And so that was the driving force and the vision coming to Idaho. Now it's just a great time and a great opportunity because I think we fill a niche in Idaho specifically that it really isn't covered by a lot of folks. And so we think we can play a good role here. We want to bring jobs here. We want to bring companies here. We want to extend some of our portfolio companies, some of their operations actually into Idaho as well. So it's kind of exciting for us to be a part of this growing community in this ecosystem. And now we just want to play a bigger role. And so
that's awesome. Well, and
bring more.
and tell me how you got involved, because you and I have had some touch points over the years, right? So
we won't talk about too much of the dirty underbelly of our past, but for me personally, so it's sort of an ongoing journey of working with entrepreneurs and being involved in startups. My first job out of college was at a nonprofit because I'm an archaeologist. That's my degree. So of course, private equity falls into archaeology. My first gig was I was employee number 12 at a company in Seattle, and I learned through that you can acquire companies because we were growing, and we bought another company, and then we went IPO, and then we divested, and then we sold parts of the company off, and so learned a lot through that. It's now a couple $1 billion company, and still in Seattle. It's still going. And then did a couple of my own startups and worked with friends and coached startups. I met you at the SBDC when I was working there and did some coaching and counseling there as well. And one requirement my wife always had, and I agree with her, is that we're not moving from Boise, so we're staying here, so make it work from home. And it's been a wonderful journey for me, but I've been involved in, when you think about being an entrepreneur, there's this journey. You think, oh my gosh, I'm going to do my great idea. I'm going to be super excited, and this is going to be awesome. And then you realize this is really hard, and I'm spending most of my time going out and raising money and
probably not getting paid yet.
Oh no,
that's like all the pain.
That's the story they don't tell you is how long can you go without taking a check? Well, what do you mean? Yeah. So it's fun to participate in that, and I've seen various roles inside that sort of cycle of capitalization. I was acquired by a private equity firm, and so that was my first taste of it, and so that was how I got there.
For the Entrepreneur Week audience here, something I love when I get to talk to David is you kind of seen it all at this point, right? So
Is that an age comment?
No, that's, it doesn't matter age. It matters how much you've done, right? And so I think that you have been a great resource for entrepreneurs in this town, and anyone can find you on LinkedIn and reach out, and they should, especially if you have questions about, financing, fundraising, getting acquired, or something else. I mean, you sat and mentored entrepreneurs at the SBDC for how long?
2 years there. Yeah.
So I think this is a really interesting time to to bring this up. I think a lot of, especially early stage founders or first time founders, they don't really understand the difference between capital firms and what the capital's for and at what stage of the company. So maybe you could help a little bit and tell us the difference between, say, PE and venture.
So that's a great question. I wish I knew. No, we fill a gap. So imagine you've got revenues, things are solid. But you've also leveraged a lot in your own bank account. You got a lot of bank loans. But you can see on the horizon the opportunity for growth, whether through another acquisition or if I just had 15 new technology resources, or if I could hire some more salespeople, I could totally blow the doors off. Or I just need some more money in my marketing. That's where private equity can usually play a role, is in the opportunity for an organization or a company or a founder to see growth, but they just need some capital and some cash. And so we can play a role in that particular piece. One thing that we're really good at and something we really like is what we call corporate carve-outs, because they're not really for this audience, but it's very complex, right?
Sure.
You're inside of a larger entity and you want to just, with a little bit of money, you can have some freedom and some ability to make some changes and make some difference. And where we like to play is in those roles, because you don't have HR, you don't have IT, you don't have an infrastructure, and we like to come in and really help you build those things out. Our model is predicated on having very strong operational participation, more like...
And that's a big difference, too, between, say, a typical venture and PE.
Yeah.
Is a lot of times PE is going to come in and either bring specific resources or actually come in and operate themselves. So a lot of PE firms have, members like you who are getting their hands dirty, taking day-to-day roles within the entities that they're trying to help.
And long term, then to start to step out and hire expertise and talent that becomes a part of that company for the long term. So you fill a gap for a period of time, and then you kind of back away and go, okay, how do we make sure this is an entity that can thrive and survive on its own? We like to acquire to grow rather than carving things up for pieces and parts. We like to do those sorts of things. And we really like to buy add-ons and add on to a strong platform that we can then attach things to.
Well, and that's kind of like a roll-up strategy, for
Exactly.
instance, right?
100%.
And again, like every PE firm's we're talking pretty generally here. Like every PE firm has a different playbook. They bring different resources or expertise or whatever. So it really comes down to, if that's, a resource you're interested in, really trying to understand how to evaluate if a PE firm like TELEO is the right partner for you. And that's beyond whether they can write a check to help solve an immediate growth need or whatever.
Yeah, money's rarely the huge problem.
That's the point I was trying to make.
It's easy to, sometimes money's easy, but still you have problems to solve. So, and a lot of those problems are what do I do next? Or I wish I had somebody I could talk to. And that's really a good role for PE to play, as well as a good sounding board for the team and the executives that you may have, that there's not somebody else inside the organization or in your board that might be able to help and participate. That's where we can bring some expertise to bear. Fill a gap. Exactly. Fill a gap. Yeah.
So with all the entrepreneurs I've been interviewing this week, I always like to ask, what's the thing that you need right now? Like, you have the whole Boise Entrepreneur Week audience here ready to listen. What do you need? Well, for you guys, it's a little different. So I'm going to ask you a different question, which is, what kind of deals are you looking for?
Awesome ones. Duh. No, we like companies that sell to B2B. We like B2B. We like recurring revenue. We like to stay lower mid-market, so not where it's all about the balance sheet. We like great teams that want to grow and want to expand their business or expand their footprint. We're interested in investing and growing with an organization rather than let's just get rid of it and not deal with it. So that's where we like to play. About recurring revenue. We like good recurring revenue, and technology is always good. Although we've bought some very non-technical things I was telling you about. So,
sure. Well, and I think for you guys, that's just about portfolio diversification, right?
Exactly.
So are there specific industries that you guys target or look at or have specific expertise?
We're good at manufacturing. We're good in software as a service. We're good. We like to play in those spaces. We like to play in opportunities that can be software as a service if possible. We like that kind of stuff. Technical, ideally. What we do that's different than the other firms that I've participated with is we have very strong. We have managing partners who go out and do the fund and manage the fund, and then we have operating partners who have circles of expertise. And so we have.
How big is that team?
So there's 3 managing partners and 4 operating partners. And the operating partners all have areas of expertise. So in the SaaS market, we've got a gentleman who's bought and sold multiple companies to Cisco. In the healthcare market, we've got a gentleman who's been in healthcare for, I'm not allowed to say how many years, but he's
Long enough.
Long enough.
Lots of
Long
experience.
enough. Oh my gosh. But a lot of experience both in healthcares and in EMRs, so electronic medical records. And then we've got some expertise in the airline industry, but mostly software and software as a service.
And I would assume things that are kind of parallel to those, right?
Indeed,
Stuff
indeed.
that comes alongside some of that expertise is a big part of PE.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, I was talking to you about, we did an acquisition of Rand McNally. You think of the maps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they actually have a very cool fleet management technology for trucks and truckers and commercial trucking and vehicle management that is behind there as well. So you get to work in both those places.
And who would have known? Right?
I know.
Like, yeah.
Well, we did.
Oh, yeah. If you're going and doing the deal.
I do now. Yeah.
And so talk to me about kind of your guys' hope for deal flow specifically in Idaho. I mean, if you're going to be headquartered here, plant your flag here, everyone moved here. I mean, you literally like get the band together, everyone.
Bro, we're putting on a show.
We're putting on a show.
So in Idaho specifically, we want to have an impact in the community. We want to participate in the ecosystem. So we're talking to folks that may not be a fit based on what I just told you, but we're talking to them anyway because we believe if we can help bring capital into the valley, then we can help eventually build our portfolio. So we've connected some local entities to angels, to startup venture capital, to other private investors that we know. So it's not necessarily to fit our portfolio that we're looking for. What we want is access so that we can help grow those companies. So in a couple years down the road, we can then participate if necessary. So it's playing the long game here in Idaho. Our vision is to bring jobs here, to bring aspects of our portfolio companies to Boise, to we put money in the nonprofits locally. So it's and participate in events like this.
And that's the thing that I give you guys credit for, because there's lots of folks, especially in different forms of capital, that have been coming to Idaho and they kind of want to do everything their way. And what you said which resonated with me when we were talking about this event, which that's not your ambition, right? What you really want to do is invest in the ecosystem, be a resource for people.
Right.
You should reach out to them if you have questions about capital, even if they're not.
That's very true.
The exact resource,
Yeah.
because they will put you in touch with people that can help what you're doing. Well, David, thank you so much for coming out and
having me. It's awesome.
Chatting. That's all we have for today. Coming up next is plugging into the Bitcoin network. But first, a word from our sponsors.